This particular Memories of the Road we are calling the Lost Badfingers Tape, and it could just as easily be called an inside look at the concert booking business in the 1970s. When St. Luna first started with eBay and began sorting through my extensive files and memorabilia from my many years in the entertainment business, both of us had no idea of what was really important to buyers and what was not. I had worked with Badfinger for several years and had accumulated a variety of items, including photos, promo copies of their various LPs, even some photos and several proof sheets of the band. In addition, I found a reel-to-reel tape of telephone conversations that were made in late 1972 concerning two Badfinger dates set to be played on Friday, February 9th and Saturday, February 10th, 1973. The tape recordings ran well over an hour and give an interesting picture of the rough and tumble early days of management, booking agencies, talent, and promoters. It was not a pretty picture, but certainly interesting to anyone who is a student of early music history. St. Luna and I put the tape aside since it was very involved and had a number of components to it which would need to be explained in order for those unfamiliar with the players to make much sense of it. However, as the Badfinger items we did have went up for bid, it became more and more apparent that the Badfinger fans were, for lack of a better term, rabid. The bidding and communication for the various pieces of Badfinger files were very intense. We talked about the reel-to-reel tape occasionally, but never did anything about it. Then, a few weeks ago, we started talking about it again, dragged it out one day, and started transferring it from reel-to-reel into a workable MP3 format. That accomplished, we put it on a CD and began listening to it, and listening to it, and listening to it over and over, until we could practically recite it to each other from memory. From there, it was decided that the best way for the listener to enjoy this was to break it down into segments and try to explain what was going on, who the players were, and any sidebars that would help the listener to understand and enjoy what they were hearing. This is not just a tape of Badfinger as a band, but rather an inside look at how not only Badfinger, but many other bands were used like a ping pong ball in a table tennis game called Booking National Talent. So although this is about Badfinger and how they were used in an attempt by one concert promoter to force another concert promoter, that would be me, to co-promote an Edgar Winter concert date by taking Badfinger away, this could very well be any number of acts. And the thing that you will see is the band members were totally oblivious to this. They just showed up in the U.S. and went to the talent agency office, received their marching orders, and went out and played the dates given with no knowledge of what had been happening to them behind the scenes. Before we begin this tape, what I want to do is give you a sound bite. I'm not going to tell you what it is, not going to discuss it, just going to play it. And later on, it will become evident how important and interesting it is. So, right now, here's the sound bite. Pay attention.
I just want to ask one question because I may be dealing in the dark on something and I would like to be educated myself. As of yesterday until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I had not, nor had anybody else here, cleared 2 shows.
Yeah. Well, they were clear, but I already go over that with you.
Was it Wally?
Huh?
Was it through Wally? I'm not looking to put anybody on the spot.
No, it was through the management. It was done through the management. It was cleared by, of course, through Wally. It's done by the management. Which management?
To me.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's get to it. To better help the listener understand and enjoy what they are hearing, we decided to break down the tape into segments and I will explain who either are talking or being discussed so the listener may follow along. The first segment starts with my calling the ATI talent agent Wally Meyerowitz, who was my booking agent for all of the talent listed on the ATI roster, which St. Luna has included in the package. We are discussing the dates which I booked with Wally for one of my clients, Frostberg State College in Cumberland, Maryland. The other agents at ATI mentioned in this first segment are Ira Blacker and Saul Sapian. The Klotzman is Richard G. Klotzman, the concert promoter based in Baltimore, Maryland, who, as you will hear, wants me to co-promote my dates with him, which I do not want to do for reasons which will be discussed later on in this CD. The importance of this segment is setting up the feeling about the Badfinger Band as just a pawn in this game of chess between a major market promoter and his desire to control markets, the talent agent supporting the promoter at the expense of the artist, and at the same time, the agent's concern for Amazing Blondel's booking dates. You will note that Wally is all over me to get Amazing Blondel's 2 dates confirmed, but does not give any thought to what will happen to the 2 Badfinger dates, other than to say they won't do 2 shows, which you will hear later on is not necessarily true. Anyway, let's travel back to Christmas 1972.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
How's everything?
Everything's good.
Good. Listen, I've got a problem I wanted to talk to you about. Do you know anything about, well, let me start at the beginning. Dick Klotzman and I had a discussion last week in regard to something I'm doing. And in any event, someone from his office called up Frostberg State College about my Badfinger date. Do you know anything about it?
No.
Okay. Well, initially they called up from Concept in Bethesda, Cindy over there, and they told them that, let's see, what did they, we didn't actually have the Badfinger date, that the dates hadn't been secured yet. Then they called them back and said they had talked to ATI, and that we had the dates, but the act wouldn't do 2 shows for us, meaning Domestic Sound. However, they might do 2 shows for Concept.
2 shows in one night?
Yeah.
They can do 2 shows in one night for anybody.
Well, that's what we got in our contract.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Look at the contract. It's issued for 2 shows. I got the contract sitting up in Frostberg right now being signed, issued from your office. Wait a minute, I'll give you the contract number on it. Hold on.
Ira, did you clear Badfinger dates for me? Did you clear one with 2 shows on it? You did too. What? Frostberg State College.
Yeah, you there?
We never did Frostberg College.
Sure we did.
This is what we did. We did in Cumberland, Maryland, and in Lexington Park, Maryland. We never...
Yeah, Frostberg is in Cumberland, Maryland.
Cumberland, Maryland was 2 shows?
Yeah, I got the, wait a minute, I'll give you the contract number and you can look at it. I got a copy of it. I sent it out, but I kept a,
Point to him. He's got a contract. Supply it. We won't do 2 shows.
got a contract right here. Hold on.
Well, Ira must have overlooked it as it went by because he says they wanted to. I was sure it was in Winchester. Amazing Blondel.
Hold on.
And I gotta have those Amazing Blondel offers, which I called you about for 2 straight weeks, that you never fucking answered my phone calls all last week.
No, wait a minute, let me find it here. Here. Is it St. Mary's? No, it's St. Mary's. Okay, Cumberland. Well, there's no, I don't know if there's a number on it. It was issued the 8th day of December. 2 50-minute performances between 7 and 1 a.m. 5,000 flat.
Two shows?
Yep, this is 2 50-minute performances between 7:30 and 1 a.m. 29th, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, stage appearance. All right, then are you saying, in other words, that they won't do 2 shows?
No, they won't.
Okay, well then I can't use them on that date then. All right, so that's going to throw out my weekend. I'll have to get to the school then and get something else in. They definitely won't. No, they won't. Let me ask you one other question here. Is there a situation where if Klotzman were booking this for the school, they do 2 shows for Klotzman and they won't do 2 for me?
They ain't gonna do 2 shows for Glotzbahutska.
All right. Well, all right. So that we can't do anything on those dates then, right?
What, the 9th and 10th?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I'm putting them together for 2 days with the schools here, and definitely can't do the 9th.
No, they definitely won't do 2 shows.
Okay. And I'll have to call them up and tell them to forget about it because we can't. You got anything else that will do 2 shows on the 9th?
What happened to my Amazing Blondello?
Well, I'm working on the Amazing. I told you I'll take care of the Amazing Blondell for you.
When I spoke to Barry said he couldn't do it in the club.
Barry said, no, I talked to Barry. Barry said he'd do it in the club.
No, he said...
But you said you didn't want to do Thursday and Friday with him. You only want to do Friday night now.
Friday and Saturday I wanted to do.
Well, Saturday I've got at Falls Church Community Center.
What about Friday?
Well, Friday's going to work the club on Thursday and Friday, but you'd only want to do 1 day in the club.
They can't. They're in Mobile, Alabama on a Thursday.
All right, well, I'll work out the club with him for Friday.
But these dates are no good anyway.
Well, right. Well, now they're not because I can't use... I mean, even if I took Amazing Blondell on the show, I'm not going to use them because Badfinger's not going to do 2 shows. So now my dates are out. But I'm saying what's disturbing me more is why the school got the phone call from Klotzman. I mean, the only one that knew about where the act was playing was you and I. So I never told him where the acts were playing. I just told him I had the act booked. But I didn't tell him where. But he called straight up there for the activities chairman.
Klotzman having a hassle?
Well, because I'm going back into promoting. And he doesn't like that. He wants me to take him and his partners on it, and I don't want to do that. I told him I didn't. And so, if he doesn't, he wants to play games, that's fine too. But now it's coming down to where it's going to cost, unless he can fill the dates for Badfinger somewhere else, it's going to, it blows 2 dates away now.
Doesn't blow 2 dates away, they ain't going to do 2 shows. Like, as far as I'm concerned, the 10th is still good. I mean, what's the 10th got to do with the 9th?
Because I've got a plane going from one point to another. I got several things working out that I need one against the other.
And they got to have 2 shows this college?
Yeah, Frostberg does. They have to have 2 shows. I told you that when I talked to you, because they only have 1,000 seats in the hall. We already went through that when I first set it up. That's where I had the James gang up there too, and that we had to do 2 shows. We only had 1,000 seats. It's a small gym, and they just can't make any money at that price. They don't expect to make it, but they want to come halfway close to breaking it, and they can't even break it with 1,000 seats.
Let me get back to you. Check out Amazing Blondell.
All right, with the Amazing Blondell, I told you, I'm giving you my word. I'll take the Amazing Blondell and I'll cover the Amazing Blondell. I said that to you, and I meant it. I said I'll take care of it. The only thing I'm concerned about is what's going on here now as far as Dick. I mean, I don't want to be having to book an act from you or trying to book dates from you, and then having it going back to Klotzman, and the next thing him calling up the same client trying to book the same act in. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it's. I don't even think it's legal to do something like that. That sounds somewhat like a restriction of trade here.
What restriction of trade?
Well, if you wanted to buy it into another market.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
But what I'd like to find out is where he got the information of that the act was planned. He didn't speak to you, is that correct? If he spoke to Saul up there about it?
I don't think he was talking to anybody. I don't know. I may have in a course of conversation when I was offering him dates, said that they were going to be in Maryland this day and that day, and can you take this day and this day, and then where are they going to be? Well, they may be in Boise, and they may be in they may be in blah blah blah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, stop ringing.
Okay.
So I'm going to call him up. I got to find out what's going on here.
All right. Let me ask you another thing. What about Hollies. Do you want to sell any Holly dates?
Sure.
You got any? All right. What do you have open on Hollies?
From February 14th to March 11th.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but I'd like to get this other thing. Well, a couple of things squared away here. You can understand my situation. I don't mind open, fair competition, but it would be really a very bad situation for me if I were to be, calling you or calling any agent, putting in offers, and then having the school being called an hour later by another service agent trying to sell the same act and the same deal, which is exactly what he's doing. He's offering the same deal, and he's offering, I think, a less on a service charge. That's about it. All right, that is the problem I have at this hour. And if you can...
Well, you and him have a fight or something?
Well, here's exactly what happened. Like I said, we're back into promoting. I've got some backers, and I've got money, and I've got halls down here. I've got a 10,000 seater I'm getting ready to open in Virginia.
Where's that?
It's outside of the district. It's about 5 minutes from the district. I'm going to open it next month.
With Barry?
I beg your pardon? Well, Barry's going to work with me, but in other words, these halls are mine. See, Barry's going into a you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Barry's involved in a TV deal or something with Dick. And this is my own company. I think as you saw the checks, it's Bud Becker Associates.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and I've got people that are backing me, and I've got, I'm working on the roller rink right now. I'll be reopening the roller rink and a couple other things.
Steve Talbot?
Huh?
Where's
Steve? I just saw Steve Saturday night. He was just with me Saturday night.
Is he working?
He's just bullshitting around. He ain't doing nothing. He's messing around with a couple of local bands. In fact, we booked his local bands into a hall Saturday night.
How come he's not promoting?
I have no idea. I don't know. I guess it's because of halls. There's not that many halls around here. All there is you got the Civic Center and you got high schools. But there's nothing much else in between that's making it.
It's hard to get into the Civic Center.
Well, the Civic Center I'm not interested in. If I got Dick's got it, and for what he's doing with it, that's fine. I explain that to him too. And I figure if I got 10,000 seats sitting out here, I'm fairly competitive to him. And also, I shouldn't have a restriction on my running times, because I don't have basketball and the other stuff to contend with. So, anyway, I bought Edgar Winter from Premier, and he tried to block the date from Premier.
Did he?
I'm doing it. And that was the thing. There was a big hassle. He told me he was going to block the date, and I says, okay, fine, go ahead. And I called Skydell up, and I told her, I says, you can either sell me the date or not sell me the date. I don't care. Same thing, I'm saying here. I said, but, I don't want to play games, because Dick was trying to put pressure on her for us to go in partners on the date, which I have no intention of doing. And that was it. So we're doing Edgar Winter and JoJo Gunn. I'm doing it on the 28th in a 5,000-seater. And, you there? And so that's the way it's coming down. So, there's plenty of, with the market I'm into, there's plenty of acts around that we can book. I'm sure that we can work something out, because I don't need the super heavies. I don't, when they're high schools and colleges, I've got built-in audiences anyway, which is obvious with Rare Earth. They tried Rare Earth a couple times and didn't make it here. In fact, they never even went through with the show. So I just want to get the air cleared as to where we're dealing.
I'm going to call Richard. I got to see what's happening here. I understand what's going on. Well,
you ought to check with somebody in your office. If he didn't speak to you, possibly he spoke to Ira or spoke to
it's possible
Tom.
that I may have said to him, like...
No, he knew specifically that I had... That he knew, when he called in, he knew specifically not only that I had the date, but he knew exactly who to ask for up there. He had the names this chick had the names when she went in.
That's easy to get. I don't even know who the fuck you deal with up there.
Well, but it was...
Even if I spoke to him, I couldn't have given him the names.
Oh, yeah, it was on the contract.
It was?
Yeah, it was on the contracts that you issued. See, I already had the that was the thing I didn't understand. I've had the contracts, and the contracts are at the school, and it was right on the contract. And that was the other thing the school couldn't understand. That's what was freaking the school out. The school couldn't figure out where this was all coming from either, because they had the contracts. And they says, what's going on here? Well, they talk about, they won't do 2 shows for me, but they'll do 2 shows for Concept, and that the dates are open, and they were just all sorts of shit they were trying to run down to these people. And, of course, the guy has dealt with us before, and we've got a verbal exclusive arrangement up there at that school. So that, if we don't do that, we'll go in and do something else. So there isn't a big problem with, I'm not concerned about Dick coming in on that school and taking the hall away from it. that's the furthest thing from my mind. What I am concerned about is the relationship, with your agency.
Oh, the agency relationship is cool. I don't understand what's going on. Ira said to me, if he cleared a date with two things, it was absolutely an accident, and it should have been cleared. I don't remember it being 2 shows. Now, if it was, it's very possible, man. I might write 1,000 things, and I very rarely write 2 shows, so I never think anything is 2 shows, you know?
Yeah.
So, if it was 2 shows, I might have just put it through, thinking that, well, I'm going to
Yeah, well, I remember
if he accepts it, then he accepts it, you know?
Yeah, because I remember us having a discussion on the 2 shows, because I told you, I remember telling you that I needed that.
Who the fuck's Mark Wolf?
That I had that particular situation where I remember we discussed James Gang had played there, and I had to do 2 shows with them, and I would have to do 2 shows with the
I
same.
really don't remember it, but...
Yeah. All right, well, check this out. Let's get straight. I don't want to tie you all up if we're not going to be able to do the thing, and if we are, let's do business, and also let's get this other thing out in the open and find out where we're at.
Okay.
Open competition is fine.
Fine, absolutely no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There you have the first part of this tape. A lot of information and a lot of players that will come in and out as we go through the tape. First, the most important thing about this conversation with Wally is that he is more concerned about the Amazing Blondell dates than he is about losing a Friday and Saturday night on Badfinger. Not that Amazing Blondell is that big an act. However, they are signed with Chris Blackwell's record label, Island Records, home to several headliners that the agency wants to keep happy, including Free. Remember All Right Now with Paul Rogers as the lead singer? John, and they used to nickname him Rabbit, Burdick, the keyboard player for Free, is credited with bringing Amazing Blondell to Chris Blackwell's attention. So I imagine keeping Free and Island Records happy was behind Wally's concern that Amazing Blondell's dates were secure. In the meantime, Badfinger, as you will hear, is being moved around the chessboard with no more regard than a pawn. Wally is heard checking with Ira. That was Ira Blacker, who was the responsible agent for Badfinger, meaning he cleared all offers before the contracts were sent out to the client. Barry was my partner in BB&B Limited, Barry Richards, and he also had a club, My Mother's Place, in downtown D.C., where national acts played regularly. Skydell is the premier talent agency agent, Barbara Skydell, representing Edgar Winter, and Wally asking about Steve Talbert. Steve was a Baltimore-based promoter who also managed a regional band called Cherry Smash. The main point of this first tape is how I mentioned the restriction of trade as a legal issue. Wally backtracks that he might have mentioned it to Dick, also wants to know about the conflict between Dick and me. I imagine to understand what was going on when he called Dick back. Since, as you will hear next, Wally did not call me back. He apparently thought this would work itself out and he went on vacation, assuming that Dick had it under control, which I am sure he told him. The next call is between the college agent at ATI, Howard, who had my territory. Again, not knowing really what was going on, and amazing to me, not really worrying about Badfinger dates that were going to go away. As a footnote, the reason I had such a good relationship with Frostberg College and the activities chairman, Joel Shope, was that the school had trouble getting quality talent because the field house was so small that they needed 2 shows to make it work. Acts did not like to do 2 shows, but since I had other clients, I would, as in this case, package Frostberg with another date, sometimes with a little bit better money or a percentage deal if they could sell out in a bigger venue. I got the school quality talent. That was the reason for the strong association, because Joel knew he was being used on this date, and Concept would not stand behind them and work on a continuing basis once this battle between Dick Klotzman and me was over. So now, here is Howard, the college agent.
Hello?
Hello, this is Bud Becker. Is this Howard?
Yeah, hi, Bud.
Hi. Well, I'm fine. I spoke to Wally yesterday in regard to a problem we have. They just put me through to you. About Badfinger for 2 shows on the 9th of February. And there was some question about, we have a contract issued from the office for 2 shows for Badfinger on that date for Frostberg. And
Who issued the contract?
You did, ATI.
Yeah, well, what was the agent that issued the contract?
Just a second, I'll tell you. Hold on. Okay, let me see. I don't see it. Where's your agency note? Oh yeah, here it is. 9048 Wally Meyerowitz.
Wally issued the contract.
Correct. He issued it on the 8th day of December.
8th day of December. What's the problem?
Well, the problem is that they got a call from someone saying that Badfinger would not do 2 shows.
Who they get the call from?
They got the call from Concept. I don't know why they got involved in it, but Concept in Bethesda, one of the secretaries, Cindy, called them up and told them that that Badfinger would not do 2 shows.
Okay, let me ask a question. How did Wally issue contracts for that day? Do you work for the agency or are you a college?
No, I'm a service agent for the college. We have 2 days. We have the 9th and the 10th.
So you
We're servicing those. The contracts were issued to the college through our office for Frostberg.
So Wally had no right issuing those contracts. Really?
I'm sorry?
Wally really had no right issuing those contracts. That's my territory.
Oh, well, I've worked with, I've been working with Wally for a long time.
Oh, then that's cool.
I worked with him for about, I guess, over the past year. We also promote in Washington.
We did
we did the rarity, and we've done several other dates down here. In fact, we did Badfinger last year.
Won't do 2 shows.
I beg your pardon?
Badfinger won't do 2 shows.
I don't know that well.
What was the price of the contract?
Huh?
What was the price?
It's $5,000 for 2 shows.
$5,000 for 2 shows?
Right.
That's wrong. There's no way it could be $5,000 for 2 shows.
That's what I've got a contract here. It says 2 50-minute performances between 7:30 and 1 a.m., $5,000 flat.
Really?
And then there's a Saturday night, the 10th, 1 show, 5,000 flat.
Really? That's really strange. Listen, let me get back to you. What's your number?
All right, my number is area code 703
Yeah.
532 0227. Now, here's the situation. I have the activities chairman here in my office now, and I want to settle it up today because if we're not going to take this date, then I've got something else I want to put in there, and I'd like to clarify this with him here.
So you want to know?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I mean, there should be no real problem in this. Either they will or they won't, and the contracts were issued. The understanding was that they would, and Wally was going to get back to me this morning and double check it out. The contracts were supposedly went through Saul's office and were cleared, and they were issued to us.
Okay, so you want to
I want either a confirmation for this individual that the dates are good, or else I want a confirmation that the dates are bad. It's for Frostberg State College.
Frostberg State College?
Right, and the contract number, I guess, is 9048. Is that the number you want?
No, I want the date. Was February 9th?
8th. It was, you mean the date of the concert? Yeah, February 9th.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
Badfinger's out. Okay, you got anything else on those days?
No.
Okay.
I got Rare Earth, maybe?
Yeah, but will they do 2 shows?
No.
Okay, I needed 2 shows. What about Hollies? Hollies do 2 shows?
Hollies ain't in the country.
Yeah, I know, but they're coming in later. I could push this up to a later date. So I got the account. It's just a question of finding something to fill a date.
Hollies do 2 shows? No.
Nope. Okay, got anything at all?
That'll do.
Hello, honey. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find some if I can.
Okay, but
Why does one date have to cancel the other date?
because I'm working with 2 schools, and I'm putting 2 schools together, and I'm looking for an act to work both schools.
All right.
So if I want to keep the Frostberg account as well as the other account. So I'm trying to put something together which will work both of them out, especially Frostberg, because Frostberg is a problem for me on isolating a date. And it's a good account. They got quite a bit of money up there to spend for the year, so I got to keep them happy. And I can't, on a solo date in there, it's ridiculous. All right, nothing else, I guess. Then that's it. Block that stuff out. I'll get the contracts back from the school and then mail it all back to you.
Okay.
Alrighty, talk to you later on.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you'll notice, I started out talking with Howard, and the words, "the Badfinger is out," was Wally back on the line. Again, I believe at this point the agency was assured by Dick Klotzman that he could put the band into Frostberg. However, as I mentioned to Wally, I needed 2 dates to make everything work for Frostberg. The other school, St. Mary's in Lexington Park, Maryland, had a larger hall, but if you look at the map, they were off the beaten path and needed the routing of another date to ensure a Saturday night play date. Also, understanding that their best interest was not going to be served by going with Concept for this date, and then they would be dropped, which later on you will hear Jay Ehrlich, Dick Klotzman's partner in Bethesda, Maryland, admit to me. The next portion is a conversation between me and another talent agent. It really has nothing to do directly with ATI and Badfinger, but I left it in just to give the listener an idea of the talent around during this period of 1972 and the prices acts were asking. Just a little insight. Here we go with Mike and me discussing talent.
What about John Denver? Any availabilities on John Denver?
Yeah, the Feb 9 and 10.
Feb 9 and 10 are good.
March 3.
Oh, March 3 is good? Oh, excellent. Will he do 2 shows?
Possibly, yes.
What about Shannon on that 9th date?
There's not a date open in February. They're off that weekend.
Okay. You're not handling David Bowie, am I correct?
No. Possibly Feb 10 and Melanie.
Melanie? How much on Melanie?
Oh, wait, she's playing Washington. Melanie's figure 65 to 70.
Will she do 2 shows?
Clean.
I don't think that. Will he do 2 shows? Let me just check that.
Possibly.
What about Richie Havens?
I got a new book here for this year. It might take me a month to Feb 9 and 10 will be a possibility. March 3.
For Havens? Okay. Will he do 2 shows?
Possibly. Nevada?
How much would Denver want for the 2 shows, do you know?
Stevie Wonder. Not right now. He's playing Washington tonight.
Well, see, this is outside of what? This date on the 9th is like,
It doesn't conflict. Well, that is, he's playing Washington on the 9th.
Oh, he's playing Washington on the 9th? Alright, 10th. I don't know if I can move to that 10th date or not. Huh? Oh, he's already booked? Yeah, okay, that doesn't help me at all. Where's he playing on the 9th?
The 9th is, I don't know, it's some armory or something in Washington.
Oh, yeah. National Guard Armory.
Right.
That's a good place for them.
That's about it at this present time. It could all change next week when things start happening again.
Okay, but now let me ask you this. Think we could come out any better on a 2-day package with Denver? Having one, this night date is obviously 1,000 seats per show. There's nothing there.
Right.
On that 10th, I could put in, I could give him 5,000 seats, which I could give him some gross potential. Think we'd have any kind of a deal on a 2-day shot like that? Okay, let me see if I can work anything out on that, and I'll get back to you. That might work out for us. And if anything else, give me a call. You got that April date? I'm looking for.
Right, we're a little early on that.
Okay, April 15th, April 28th, but it would have to be, something heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, if anything else pops up, let me know.
Hey, Bud, if I don't speak, you have a good New Year's.
Same to you, and I'll talk to you, if not now, I'll talk to you after the 1st.
Okay, fine.
Thank you, Mike.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, now the fun begins. This call picks up with Saul from ATI, who is also an agent. From this conversation, it appears that Saul had called me the previous afternoon and asked if I would put the Badfinger's dates back into Frostberg and St. Mary's College. Then, after I had talked to Saul, someone contacted Cindy at Concepts and told her to call Joel Shope at Frostberg. This tape gets even better when the telephone line has Jay Ehrlich, Saul, Dick Klotzman, and me all trying to figure out who has Badfinger. This is where the tape is priceless for all you serious Badfinger fans. Listen closely when Dick Klotzman is cornered by Saul and me as to how he has gotten control of the Badfinger's date for Frostberg. He says on the tape, the manager. The manager, Stan Polley, the Badfinger manager of record in 1972, had a habit of forming companies for each of his clients, using charm to lure them in and complicated business structures to funnel money away from the artists. He formed Badfinger Enterprises, Inc. in 1970 and acted as the American arm of the band's organization in 1972 when Badfinger let Stan Polley negotiate a new record deal with Warner Brothers Records. The contract called for cash advances to be placed in escrow, and Warner Brothers soon found itself filing a lawsuit when it couldn't locate the funds. A legal tangle ensued, and Badfinger saw their records pulled from the shelves. By then, Peter Ham saw the writing on the wall and tragically hung himself. His suicide note ended with, quote, Stan Polley is a soulless bastard, and I'll take him with me, end quote. Pete finally got his wish in 2009. But right now, it looks like Stan, with Klotzman, saw a way to make a quick buck and kept Dick informed, since Saul could not confirm 2 shows without going to Stan. All of this and more are on this portion of the tape. Let's go back to the tape.
Listen, I gotta know what's going on here, man. I'm really upset. Very upset.
Now,
I'm trying to get this thing back for you guys after it's been screwed up.
Yeah.
And now who has his Badfinger date? Do I have it or does Concept have it? I mean, if Concept has got it, fine, just leave me alone.
Who is Concept?
Concept? Who's Concept? Dick Klotzman.
No, Concept does not have the date.
Well, then why are they trying to sell it to my account?
I have no idea.
They just went back in, told him they'd do 2 shows. They called him up last night, called Frostberg up, said, hey, Badfinger will do 2 shows for you.
Talk to Klotzman.
Huh?
While he's guy's on vacation, okay?
All right, well, somebody gave them the information. Why don't we do this? I can punch in and get a hold of their office now. You want to set up a conference call and we'll talk to these people over there?
Where, at Frostberg?
No. Concept.
Bud, do you have the deals? Because if you do, they're yours. I've been telling you this.
But I'm not going to, the thing is this, I'm not going to even bother with it, man. This is what I went through with Wally already, man. I can't go around trying to sell acts as a service agent, man, and having the agency I'm buying the act from calling up a competitor, giving him the exact information, giving him who's buying the act, where they're buying it for, and letting him go in and try to sell the act out from under me. I'm not going to put up with it.
Again, and I will repeat it once again, I have no knowledge of who spoke to Klotzman. I pulled these things out because it bugged me. I originally had the 9th myself in Mobile, Alabama.
I know.
Okay? I moved it back because of these 2 days.
I'm aware of that. But how did she know? You just found out yesterday for me. You just cleared 2 shows yesterday afternoon for me, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now she called him up last night.
They had not been cleared until I called you yesterday.
Fine. That's what. Okay. But how did she find out yesterday afternoon that there were 2
I have
shows
no knowledge
good?
of that whatsoever.
That's what I want to call her. Let's call her up and find out and get this straightened out. If I've got the date, tell her to stay the fuck out of my territory.
All right. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
At your end.
Hold on a second. I got the wrong number on there.
Hello, this is a recording in...
There we go. Here we go. I'm sorry to put you through this, man, but I've got to get this straight.
Good afternoon, Concept.
Yeah, is Cindy there, please?
Speaking.
Cindy, this is Bud Becker. How are you?
Hi, Bud.
Listen,
Hold on, let me clear the other line.
Okay, fine.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
All right, how are you doing?
Fine, can you talk for a minute?
Sure.
Excellent. I have Saul Sapien on the other line. Saul, you there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Fine, from ATI.
Uh-huh.
All right, now, I'm trying to clarify something in regard to this Frostberg account. You've been speaking to Joel Shope at Frostberg, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, now you offered him 2 shows on Badfinger on the 9th of February, correct?
Nice.
Okay, now how did you know that they would do 2 shows?
Pardon?
Who told you Badfinger would do 2 shows?
This is what we were talking about, the event they do 2 shows.
In the event that they do...
You told him on the phone yesterday, I just spoke to him, that they would definitely do 2 shows for him on the 9th and dictated the telegram to him, correct?
Right.
Okay, now where did you get that information that they would do 2 shows?
I can get it for you firsthand. Hold on.
No, I say who gave it to you?
Who gave me the information?
Yeah, who told you that Badfinger would do 2 shows?
Dictated down to Dennis.
Well, where did Dennis get the information from?
Yeah, that's what I say. Hold on, I'll get it for you first.
Okay, fine.
Pretty hairy.
Exactly right. You see my situation here. I mean, this is...
I do, because I did not talk to Klotzman's office at all.
I know. I mean, this is, it's ridiculous because it's screwing up my dates. We'd have had all this stuff together one way or the other a long time ago if they hadn't been in. They also called the St. Mary's account. Yeah. They had the names and everything down there. See, they don't realize.
You're right with you, buddy.
Okay. They don't realize. I'm not saying we're the most powerful people, but we're fairly strong with our colleges.
I'm not arguing.
No, and it's...
The only thing I can tell you is that the only point this thing was cleared for 2 shows.
Right. Okay, that was one hand.
And called you back an hour later.
Right. Exactly right. I know that. And I spoke to you. That's why I can't understand. That's why I want to clear this thing. And I'm working now to get everything together to do those 2 dates and put everything back the way it was. And then the guy calls me, and I look like an asshole. I'm calling him up, telling him, hey, man, I can get this thing together. Let's get back on. He says, Cindy already called.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't now. Not if it's supposed to be our date. And, if, as a service agent, that's a serious problem.
Kick in the ass.
Exactly. And I've got a lot of other things that, I want to get this straight, and I want to get with you about some other schools. We've got a lot of schools that we can do dates on. But I can't do them if I'm going to be knocking on the front door and somebody else is coming around the back door.
Well, it sure wasn't me that talked to them.
Okay, well, they're going to have to come up with a name right now. And she didn't seem too anxious to put it down to us.
Yeah. If it's Wally, that's bullshit, but Wally hasn't been here since Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, no. Because I called him yesterday. They seem to be taking an awful long time getting back to us.
Pick a name, any name. Motsman? Motsman. Oh, okay. Terrific. Get a number. Motsman's calling me on the other line.
Fine. Tell him to call us in. We'll put him on. We'll get this thing straightened out. See, if he's got the date, the thing is, if he took the dates and wanted to sell them, man, he shouldn't have tried going back to my 2 accounts to sell them to him. It wouldn't take too many brains to figure I'd have myself covered. But apparently there's nobody else to sell them to.
You still holding the contracts that sent you, Bud?
Yeah, I've got everything here. I'm trying to get everything reset now.
At least we don't
But
have
sorry
to
to keep you waiting. He should be right with you. He's just tied up a phone.
Tell Klotzman to get on line 2. He's calling me on another line.
Who?
Dick just tried to call Saul on the other line.
Dick just called me urgent.
Hello?
Yeah, Dennis.
Jay.
Jay, good. This is Bud.
Hi,
I got
Bud.
Saul on the line. Oh, I got Saul from ATI's on the line.
You remember him?
Mr. Safian.
Yeah.
How are you?
Called me with something urgent. What's his problem?
Who?
Dick.
Klotzman.
What Dick's problem is?
Yeah.
Probably he's got too much money. I don't know.
All right, here's the thing, Jay.
Relieve him of some of it he'd like.
Pardon?
I said I'll relieve him of some of it if he'd like.
How much can he give you?
Oh, he can send me about $7,500. That'll take care of the banknote I owe.
Done.
All right, Jay.
Yes, sir.
The problem we have right now is Cindy called Frostberg College and got them to put in an offer that Badfinger would do 2 shows on the 9th, for you all servicing it. Okay? You with me?
Correct.
All right, now, up until yesterday afternoon, Badfinger wasn't supposedly doing 2 shows. Saul called me yesterday morning about this date, called back yesterday afternoon, said he had cleared with Badfinger to do 2 shows and to go back.
After the dates had been canceled because of 2 shows. Make that clear.
Exactly. So now, but Cindy called last night, the same activities chairman at Frostberg, offering them 2 shows. And what we want to know is how she knew that the act would do 2 shows, when until yesterday afternoon they wouldn't.
The only pleasure that I've ever had dealing with ATI is I was promised an antique desk. That's as close as I got to ATI.
I told you I'd sell you mine cheap, $7,500.
See what I mean? That's what I've got to put up with.
Well, all right, but out of your office, Cindy made an offer. Now, how did she base that? Because initially she called the school and told them they wouldn't do 2 shows, they'd do 1, the same thing that we were told. Then she called back and said they would do 2. Also, she called up the other account, St. Mary's, which was our account for the date that we had contracts on, and tried to get St. Mary's to buy Badfinger from you all. So I'm wondering also, how did she get the information of that they were supposed to play St. Mary's and who the people were? What we're coming down to here is I don't mind open competition, as I told Saul, but I'm not going to go around setting up accounts on the front door so you all can come in the back door and try to take them away. Because I'm much stronger with my accounts than that they're going to let, that thing is going to go down, and I would think you'd have more discretion than to go run around trying to do something like that.
To answer your first question, Saul,
I'm with you.
I believe that all talent negotiation is done with Wally and you, with Dick.
With Wally, number 1, and number 2, Wally has not been here since Tuesday afternoon because he left on a vacation. And I only cleared doing 2 shows on this one particular date of the 2 in question yesterday afternoon because I was looking at the Badfinger itinerary and I was saying, Jesus, this is ridiculous. I had 2 days in Maryland. They're like 65 or 70 miles apart. Why can't they do 2 shows with the time spread that's involved in the one night anyway? So we went and we called the tour manager for the act at around 12:30 yesterday afternoon. And he said, go ahead and take the 1 date on the 2-show premise. And I called Bud back and said, please put the dates back together for me.
Okay, and then I started making calls, and then last night...
I have no knowledge of who spoke to Dick about the Badfinger situation. And since Dick did call, Jay, if he's there, tell him to get on the phone. Let's get it settled. He says it's urgent, so let's find out what the fucking urgency is.
Okay, why don't I do this? Why don't you call Dick and I'll continue talking to...
All right, give me the number. I can punch it in right here.
Okay, Dick's number is...
337311.
Wait a minute. 833
833-7311.
7331.
7311.
Okay. Hold on, I got it here. Okay, got it. Okay, hold on, here we go.
Hey, you want to buy the desk?
For sure. Come down a little bit.
1,000.
How many thousand? Was that 100,000?
I said 6.
Could you come represent me?
For a fee.
How much?
10 a week.
Hired.
$.
All right, let me try one of the other lines.
Troy 8311. How come you give your people long vacations?
What's that?
What did Wally do to deserve a vacation?
If he didn't get out, man, he'd have fallen on his face.
Did he get a honeymoon?
Yeah, he had that too, but hey, this rat race, man, it catches up to you, and every 6 to 10 weeks you gotta get away for a couple of days.
That's
5775.
8775?
5775.
Okay, I got that one.
Yeah, but you can't give him all that time. We got work to do.
Shit.
He's got to come out and sign up some acts.
Hello, this is Richard Schlossman. I'm not here right now, and your call is being answered mechanically.
Practically.
I guess he is not there.
Two of the lines are busy. It may take... The deck?
Yeah.
Good, everybody's in. Saul,
Yeah, I'm here.
Jay,
You there? I'm here. Present.
Who am I speaking with?
You're talking to Bud Becker, Saul Safian, and your partner Jay.
Who's this?
that's Saul.
That was me, Saul Safian. You remember him, the guy that put you in business? Hello, Richard.
So, how are you?
I'm fine. I have a message here that says it is urgent that I call you.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is in reference to. We have a problem of some sort here.
Yeah.
With reference to Badfinger on February 9 and 10, and one of the 2 dates in question, whether it's 2 shows.
I don't have any reason. I wouldn't want to do it right now. I'd like to do it with you privately. I don't want to discuss my business from Mr. Becker.
No. I just want to ask one question because I may be dealing in the dark on something, and I would like to be educated myself. As of yesterday, until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I had not, nor had anybody else here, cleared 2 shows.
Yeah. Well, they were clear, but I'd like to go over that with you.
Was it Wally?
Huh?
Was it through Wally? I'm not looking to put anybody on the spot.
No, it was through the management. It was done through the management. It was cleared by, of course, through Wally. And done by the management. The management.
To me.
Yeah.
All right. Bud?
Yeah, well, so what's the situation on these dates? Does Dick have the dates, or do I have the dates? Who's selling these dates?
Well, I have the dates, but that's the situation because they were committed to it.
Okay, so, in other words...
Not the dates, but you only had 1 day. 1 day was a false date that they asked the group. One particular... Well, you want to do a conference thing? We can do it, you see.
Yeah, we're all conferenced here.
Okay, good, Bud. See, Bud, 1 date was a forest date. 1 date when you gave Wally the 9th and the 10th. 1 date the school never wanted. The 10th date, you said you could deliver 2 shows when you couldn't deliver. That was what you told the school. Now, after we got into the situation, it so happens that for some reason there was deliverable 2 shows, and then we contacted the school, and we're going to be very heavily involved in the schools in that area now. So it's not something new for us to do that. So we're going after the schools in that market. So then we contacted it, and so happens that the group decided to do 2 shows.
But the thing, what I'm telling him is I've got a telegram for that date for a commitment for another act.
I have a question to ask, and all I'm asking is very pure and simple. Dick, when were you told that they would do 2 shows?
Several days ago.
Possible.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. I'll call him back. Just hold my call. This whole thing is a mess.
I know it. It's ridiculous for a $500 or $700 service charge. We're going through all this, right?
Right.
I mean, it's insanity.
Hello. 1 second. I think we can have it straightened away. 1 minute.
Mama done told
Yeah.
me I was in defense. I wish I was still there. It's so friggin' cold here. I get ready to snow.
You gotta fly down south.
Exactly as sundown.
Here's the situation. The day in the college, Bud can have his telegrams, and everybody can have everybody's. The day was okay. Ira has knowledge of the date.
Ira has knowledge of it?
Yeah, two shows, and it's at the school. And I have another place to play the act, also Bud, by the way. So if you don't even play him there, the act's committed to me for that night, and I'll play him somewhere else.
Okay, fine. That was the point I made to Ira. Do you want to take the act for those dates?
Hold on
No,
one minute.
you don't have those days. You only have one day, by the way.
I
Bud.
got Bud Becker on the phone. I went back into Wally's file to look at the came out on Badfinger for one of the shows. You were hung up yesterday. I got Danny Haroni on the phone. Yeah, nobody. I didn't know that you were talking to anybody about it, and I called Bud Becker, and Danny Haroni didn't know it until I talked to him yesterday afternoon. I had a class to know they were going to took two shows before anybody knew. You didn't confirm it to anybody. Right. In other words, it's me. It's all me at this point. Is that correct? Hold on. I got Bud Becker trying to get me back to the office. Richard Klotzman says he has the same dates with the two shows, and I got confusion here.
There's no confusion, Sal. The dates are mine.
It's clear that the act... Yeah, I understand what you're saying. All right. Gentlemen, give me 10 minutes. I'll call everybody back. I'll call everybody back. 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
There you have it, from the mouth of Richard G. Klotzman. Let's listen again, so we do not miss anything here.
I just want to ask one question because I may be dealing in the dark on something, and I would like to be educated myself. As of yesterday, until 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I had not, nor had anybody else here, cleared two shows.
Yeah. Well, they were clear, but I'd like to go over that with you.
Was it Wally?
Huh?
Was it through Wally? I'm not looking to put anybody on the spot.
No, it was through the management. It was done through the management. It was cleared by, of course, through Wally. It's done by the management. The management.
To me.
Yeah.
All right.
As you hear in the beginning, Saul thinks he is in control of the Badfinger dates, as is usual procedure at a talent agency. Dick acknowledges that it was not Wally giving him the information, so it would appear the manager is on Dick's payroll. Otherwise, there is no reason to disrupt two good concert dates for $10,000, which for 1973 was not bad money. As you will note, Dick and Jay are partners. Usually, Dick has the black hat and Jay wears the white hat, as evidenced by his cheerful conversation. The dentist that is mentioned is Dennis Heffernan, who works out of the Bethesda office and is really a very intelligent person who I worked with over the years. In 1972, while working for Jay, he established a research department to track record sales, which would tell the price on a band whether it was good or not. Cindy basically handled the telephones and did what she was told. The bottom line to this whole incident was that Dick was bluffing when he said,
Here's the situation. The day in the college, Bud can have his telegrams, and everybody can have everybody's. The day was okay. Ira has knowledge of the date.
Ira has knowledge of it?
Yeah, two shows, and it's at the school. And I have another place to play the act, also Bud, by the way. So if you don't even play him there, the act's committed to me for that night, and I'll play him somewhere else.
he did not have anywhere else to play Badfinger. In fact, in a subsequent conversation I had with Dick concerning this date, I remember telling him it was his last chance to give it up and let me have the dates, or be ready to put up a tent and play them in his backyard, because I had Frostberg and St. Mary's, and to back it up, I had Grin with Niels Lofgren ready to play both dates, which were fined by the school. If you look up the Badfinger dates, you will see not only that they played Frostberg, but there is a Bud Becker associate. Now we are on to the second CD, which I have entitled Epilogue. St. Luna and I have been doing Memories of the Road for almost 5 years now, and the biggest disagreement we have on content is St. Luna's critiques regarding my narrative. She is constantly on me when I get personal, looking at copy and saying the listener is not interested in you. They want to know about the group. So we usually wind up editing to her guidelines and leaving my personal experiences in the edit bin. However, this story has a lot going on that concerned me with several of the players you might have heard on the Badfinger CD. And I felt that some listeners might be interested in a little more information of who they were, what I had to do with them, and why. So on this CD, you will not find anything about Badfinger. So if you are satisfied with my discussion about the Badfinger incident in December of 1972, we are done. If you are interested in the music business in Baltimore and Washington in the early 1970s, keep listening because that is where we are going. As an epilogue to this Memories of the Road, I have a conversation between Jay Ehrlich and me. A number of things are evident. First off, Jay does not want Cindy in on any discussion about Badfinger or anything else. You will remember Dick's threat that Concept was getting into college bookings. Here, let's listen to Dick again.
Then we contacted the school, and we're going to be very heavily involved in the schools in that area now. So it's not something new for us to do that. So we're going after the schools in that market.
Now, I'm going to play just a clip from the portion of Jay Ehrlich's tape that I'm going to play in its entirety in a moment. Here we go.
Now we came to a problem.
And that is?
And our problem, it's an obvious problem, as you can well imagine. When it comes to where to put the traffic or where to put the Neil Youngs, there's no problem for us.
Right.
When it comes to where to put the acts that aren't quite that big, there's a problem for us.
It became evident from several standpoints that Dick Klotzman did not have colleges, and he and Jay were not getting into the college booking in a big way. Also, since, as I mentioned on the first CD, he could not find another place to play Badfinger and had to give them to me for both Frostberg and St. Mary's College.
All right, the situation is this. Cindy, you got to have Cindy on the line, I guess, if you want to run this down so we're in first person here.
I would rather not.
All right, well, here's the situation. I put in offers for 2 dates for Badfinger, 9th and 10th,
Mm-hmm.
2 schools, okay? The contracts were issued for both schools. Contracts were sent out from here. All of a sudden, I get a call from one of my schools saying Cindy from Concept has called about Badfinger for the 9th. First she called, said that they didn't have contracts. Then she called back and said yes, they had contracts, but the contracts were no good because Badfinger wouldn't do 2 shows for us. However, they might do 2 shows for Concept. Okay? Then we got a conversation between New York and the activities chairman at the college and us, and ATI said definitely not. They would not do 2 shows under any circumstances. So we canceled the dates. We said fine, that'll eliminate that. We went into the school and we've got something else set up to go now for the 9th of the month. We got a call I got a call yesterday afternoon from Saul, who said, hey, can you get my dates back on Badfinger? I says, that's a possibility, but I need the 2 shows. He said, I'll call you back and let you know. Call me back in an hour. Says, yeah. Says they'll do 2 shows.
Hold on for a
Yeah.
What you are going to hear in this conversation is Jay Ehrlich putting the blame on ATI. And then later, once it became obvious, in spite of Jay's efforts to steer the conversation, into putting the blame on all the agencies, I was not buying it. This was to stir up paranoia with agents and agencies, making me think that Dick could control the situation, when the reality was Dick Klotzman had found a manager that was willing to play ball. All right, let's listen to this part of Jay and me.
And that was the extent of it.
Okay.
And then he called me back after we had the discussion with Premier and said that he was going to have to work harder to block me and this and that. And it's okay. That's what I told Saul. I said, okay, I can understand we're not obviously nowhere near the size of Concept, but I don't think that the way this thing is being handled is right either. That I call up and put in a bid for an account. I do all the legwork. You guys come along and try to steal it out from under me, which is exactly what you're doing here. In other words, you got the information from ATI as to what the contracts were for the dates, what the activities chairmans were, the names, and so on, and just ran back and ran it. I told him, I says, that's the way he wants to play, then fine, man. I'll go somewhere else to get acts, and I'll book him where somebody has some discretion. Because the only way that you all got the information was from them. Correct? How else did you know where I had the 2 acts booked? I didn't tell you.
I only, in fact, I have very, very little to do with it. I only know that we have...
Well, then ask Cindy, because Cindy's the one that made the phone calls. How did Cindy know? Why don't we get her on there? Ask her.
Hold on, I'll find out.
Fine.
C-Train show there?
She did the C-Train show?
Yeah. At Frostberg?
Variety Theater did the C-Train show at theater. Ask her if she knows Variety Theater. She worked for Variety Theater.
Variety? Who's Variety Theater? Up on top.
Ask her if she knows him.
No, who's the head guy on Variety Theater?
Who's the head
Is
guy?
there a guy by the name of Dave somebody or another?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Lenny's the head man out there.
Lenny. Okay, we got a call from somebody or another to handle the C-Train thing. And she got the dubious distinction of going to Frostberg and doing the show. Got in contact with them to do booking.
She coordinated for Variety Theater on that day.
That's correct. She went to the show, she did the show. Oh, fuck. Let me just tell him not to give me any more calls. Hold on.
Find out if she was called by Variety.
Firing the crew.
Okay, excellent. Alright, hang on a second. We're just checking in that I remember that Frostberg date with Variety, in fact, because we work with Variety Theater. But that was back in the fall, right?
Mm-hmm. And we came to a problem.
And that is?
And our problem, it's an obvious problem. As you can well imagine, when it comes to where to put the traffic, or where to put the Neil Youngs, there's no problem for us.
Right.
When it comes to where to put the acts that aren't quite that big, there's a problem for us.
Yeah, wait a minute, hang on. He's talking to Variety Theater right now.
Dennis Hefferton and Cindy Chubsky.
Yeah, Dennis. Okay, go ahead. All right, so you're saying that this was just an open shot. She just took a shot in the blue at this school, right?
Well, in the end result, to take it farther down, they had trouble at the show before she showed up. I don't know what the fuck went down.
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't get involved.
Right, but that's the thing I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is I'm interested in how she knew number one, that contract was issued for Badfinger for Frostberg, which is what she told Shope, but that was no good.
That she told Shope
She told the activities director up there that he had a contract, that she knew what the date was, knew the contract, but she told him the contract was no good for 2 shows. They wouldn't do 2 shows on that contract, but they might do 2 shows for concept. She already told him that they had a date with, she knew they had the dates with us. She told him that. So how did she know that? She got that from Wally.
I would assume that either she got that from some student there, or from...
No, because the thing
or the
was
agency,
that
one or the other.
when this happened, they were in recess. And the only person that had the contract...
There's a kid there who lives in Washington.
Yeah, but...
Isn't that true?
The guy who lives in Washington is the activities director.
He's the activities director.
Right. And she called him and told him. She didn't ask him. She called him and told him about this. And nobody else was involved. Nobody else was involved in the contracts themselves were mailed to one other person up there. So there were 2 people involved. Yeah, she did. She mentioned our name, Domestic Sound's name. Domestic Sound couldn't get the act, but they could. Domestic Sound couldn't get them to do 2 shows, what she told me. Which is what I called Wally about.
Asking to do 2 shows.
Asking to do 2 shows. Well, not even asking to do 2 shows. First off, just asking what the lowdown was on the fact of them giving me a date and then running around and calling you up and telling you to go after the same account with the same offer.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
Exactly right. Thank you. That's exactly my point. If you want to go out, in other words, if you want to steal an act from me and make a better offer, a better bid for it, I think that's all in the game. I don't see anything wrong with that. But when you come back and try to steal an act for the same exact hall and the same exact account and everything, especially on service agenting, I think that's a little mundane, don't you?
Well, it seems a little self-defeating. It would seem senseless for you to go to. Well, obviously we have the same talent to offer.
Exactly. It's a question of who has the accounts or who's dealing with the accounts or whatever, or who may has a little bit better service or better rapport. But once the act is closed, once the agency accepts an offer on the act, issues a contract on the date to a service agency, they should honor that service agency, wouldn't you say? Shouldn't they honor that agreement? Unless somebody else comes along and offers them a better deal for the same date, but not the same deal.
And if they offer...
that sounds kind of restriction of trade sort of thing to me.
Well, then it would be competition. The end result, which you'd be saying, is if Badfinger was offered at $5,000 and that's what they were getting paid, and Dick said, okay, I'm going to give them $500 out of my pocket, and the school is going to pay $45. That's some stupid type of competition.
Right, maybe, but then again, it's the same place. In other words, the agency is selling the same act to 2 people for the same place. Now that can't work. You either sell it to me or you sell it to you. I mean, you don't sell it to both of us for the same act for the same place. Somebody took down an offer for us for Frostberg for 2 shows because we've got contracts that show it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how can that all of a sudden be changed to you for the same thing for 2 shows? Same place.
I would assume that Cindy, somehow or another, and I wish she would tell me how, convinced them that they would be better off buying from her. I would assume that was price.
No, they're willing to buy from us. We're all set. They're buying the date from us. It's fine. We got a telegram. I got a telegram on them for the date. As long as they're doing 2 shows, we got the date.
And when's your telegram dated?
When's it dated? It's dated back when the thing was first set up, before the contracts were issued. Before the original contracts were issued. For 2 shows.
For what date?
For the 9th of February.
And what date do they want to have
9th of February.
They do want it tonight?
Yeah. There's wrestling in there on the 10th.
Okay, let's skip over this particular recurring type of vendetta or whatever. Competition that doesn't even seem to be logical. Do you have a suggestion where we can work together, mutually beneficial?
I don't see how. Like I told Dick, man, I tried to work with you all for almost a year and a half. And, where did it get me?
The only place that it seemed to get you is turned around.
Exactly. I mean, I'm right back where I was a year ago. Starting back where I was a year ago.
Worse. Because a year ago you didn't have all these hassles.
Same old, same old. A year ago I didn't have any money either, so I'm no different there.
All right. So let's go. If I can go back to was it June or May or whenever it was that we were in the Hilton Hotel with
Right.
the ex-Mr.
Fine.
Mr. Klein. At that time, we had the world of respect for you.
And I had it for you guys too. I thought I was going to come into a nice business deal,
And
which would have been profitable for everybody.
and as it turned out, the business deal never took off because of the problems with Mr. Klein.
Well, I don't know if that was the problem. Now, I got back to Dick. Dick was supposed to get back to me I sent him a proposal and he said he would send a counter proposal, which he never did. And in fact, I had a meeting, if you remember, after Marty left the organization, I had a meeting with Dick on a Sunday to try and work all this stuff out. And he was supposed to get back to me, and he never did. Just let it lay. And it can't go that way.
No way, shape, or form, and I agree with you. Now we've come 6 months down the road, and we've accomplished absolutely nothing. I know from past experience you may not have the highest regard in the world for me. I, however, have the highest regard in the world for you. I'd like to see something work out. Is that possible?
Well, I don't think it's possible because of the fact now I'm committed with other people. It's just like when I committed to you all, I committed myself totally to your operation and to trying to better it and working for you, which is what I did. And all the time when the roller rink and everything else was trying to get together, I was working for you for an organization. And I think I worked hard. I tried to get it together as best I could, considering I wasn't getting the support I felt I should have at the time, but I hung in there as long as I could. Now I have other people who have given me money and are giving me other assorted values as far as power goes, and I have a responsibility to them. I can't just turn around to them and say, well, gee, I really appreciate you putting all this in me and spending this money and doing this and that and preparing to do this, but now I'm going to drop it. I mean, I just can't do it. I've committed myself in another direction. I don't know if there should be a point where everyone can coexist. If it is open competition, fine, man. Let's go for open competition. I have no problems to open competition. I'm just as amenable to it as the next person. I'm not amenable to wasting time with these type of situations. I don't think I do not think that this type of approach is at all ethical. This going back and picking up. Oh, let me ask you another question. Did Cindy work with St. Mary's College too?
I am sure that if there is a college that is in the state of Maryland, Virginia, the District of Columbia, Pennsylvania, North and South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, it has been contacted by phone by either Cindy or somebody from this office. A lot of them have been visited.
All right. Well, I just think I don't know. I don't see what we can do other than I think we should try to avoid this type of a thing, because I think this type of situation looks bad. At least it seems to me it looks bad to the client and it looks bad to the agency. I mean, I don't know what type of individual Saul is, but I met him just once. But he doesn't seem to me like the type of person who wants to be involved in this type of a thing. Ira Blacker, from my past dealings, may enjoy this type of a situation, but I'm not sure. But I don't think Saul has the time or wants to get into these type of things where there's going to be all this bullshit going down over teeny bopper acts, which is what it is. $4,000 and $5,000 acts. How much can they make on a deal like this, man? What are they making? $500, $600 on a commission for all this aggravation? He's got to spend a half hour on the phone. How much are we making involved for all this, man? Yeah, this is crazy.
It is crazy. And
so, I mean, if you want to go after school, we want to go after school, fine. Whichever school they dig the rap more of, they think our service is better, they think your rap is better, fine, you know. Go to there, you know. I've got certain schools that want me to put on shows. You've got certain places that want you to put on shows. That's fine. It's no big thing. It's all going to work. I mean, obviously, there's other promoters in the city too. Jack Boyle is doing things. Schreiben is still doing things. I understand there's going to be a couple other people coming in doing things too. So this is not a closed market. It may be closed as far as certain acts go. I expect you guys to to have the Jethro Tulls and the Edgar Winters maybe and the the Rod Stewarts.
I can tell you what I'm looking to avoid, and I'm looking for a suggestion on your part, an open suggestion, anything that you can think of that would be amicable and clever enough to end this. Sometimes people get involved with the thought of a challenge of a fight or whatever.
Right.
And I've discovered that when people, let me use the example, if Dick decided that he didn't want you to one-upmanship him, or you decided that you didn't want Dick to one-upmanship him, one or the other, a lot of process could go through. Student directors could be influenced all different types of ways to accept one talent rather than another talent. Prices can be altered all different ways, to the point, the example that I gave, and I've heard of it before, where an act is getting $45,000 or $5,000 and the school is only paying $4,500. I mean, it even goes down to that point where there's such a difference. That only gets people nowhere.
Exactly right. Exactly right. This is 100%. It's like I'm saying right now, this thing here, to me, and it would seem as though to you, is a waste of time. I mean, it is wasted. It has wasted my time for a couple of days. It wasted my time over right before Christmas with all this bullshit starting out. It's wasted my time yesterday and today. It's wasting your time today. It's wasting Dick's time today, and it's not making anybody any money. So it doesn't stand to reason that it's profitable from any stand. And I just want to know. I want to know where the agency stands. Where in particular, I don't think this type of thing is going to be sustained by most agencies. This type of I don't think Premier Talent, for instance, would sell me an act and then turn around and sell it to Dick. I don't think they would do that. I think Barbara Skydell would think one of us was crazy if the other one asked for that. But ATI is a different situation.
Barbara Skydell is a different. She's a lovely, lovely woman. Lovely woman.
But they're also I think they're ethically they're much higher. Possibly. I'm not putting anyone down, but I think possibly their ethic code is a bit higher up there.
They happen to be the most ethical agency there is going today.
Okay, so therefore, that type of agency, if I come in and I put in an offer for an act like Black Oak, and I give them a school and a date, and they confirm that to me, I'm not going to have Cindy running in behind me to that school selling them Black Oak.
But what you may have is Cindy running into the school quoting Black Oak at $500 less than the minimum price they will take.
But I'm going to now. I think because I would have the act booked from Barbara. I would have the act committed from Barbara for that date. And if she knew it was going, I just think if that situation came up, my personal opinion is with Skydell and those people, that type of agency, this type of thing wouldn't go on.
I have a feeling.
So I'm just saying, and I think with other agencies, I don't think with the CMA, I don't think with William Morris, that this type of activity that's going on with ATI could go on with other agencies.
What would you say if I told you that not only was a possibility but a probability?
What, with Premier?
No, with other agencies that you have mentioned that you didn't think it would happen to.
I'd say I think you're wrong for some other reasons. Like,
okay, but let's assume that I was right.
no, I have to assume that you're wrong, because if you're right, then I don't want to be in the business, because this is not where I want to spend the rest of my days in this type of a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then fine. Then you got it. You can have the ballpark as far as I'm concerned. If that's the way everything is, I don't think it is. And yeah, that's. I think it may be with this particular agency, because there's been several other instances where things have happened which have not always been exactly right. And I don't hold it against them. They're a fighting agency. They're within their own structure.
There's no possible conceivable way that I can get you and Dick back together again in a working relationship.
Not exactly true. A while after this, I did come to terms with Jay and Dick and went to work for Concept Entertainment, first as the college agent and then the tour coordinator for national concerts that they had, including Uriah Heep and Seals and Crofts. A very interesting few years, to say the least, many of which are on the various memories of the road that St. Luna has up for sale on her eBay site. First, with Jay, I was able to contact Richard Harrington, who in the late 1960s and early 1970s was a writer and editor with a number of underground Washington, D.C. newspapers: Washington Free Press, Quicksilver Times, Woodwind, Unicorn Times, and finally settled in at the Washington Post until he retired in May of 2008. Richard wrote a great piece in Woodwind in 1972, which I think, if you are listening to this CD, by reading those articles, you will get a good picture of Jay Ehrlich and the reason I was taking his discussion with a grain of salt. By the way, there is a great interview by William Triplett in the March 2009 issue of the Washingtonian magazine. I have taped the link onto the CD cover, so if you are interested in the history of the music scene and Richard Harrington, copy it and read it. For Richard G. Klotzman, you probably have heard enough to get a good idea of what he was doing in 1972. However, I have an article copy of the April 12, 1985 Pulsar, Insider's News Briefs, which shows from 1972 till 1985, Dick lost none of his creative ways of dealing with the world of entertainment. Finally, the mention of Jack Boyle, the head of Cellar Door Concerts and one of the greatest promoters of all time, reminds me of a situation where Jack had just taken over the Cellar Door nightclub in Georgetown from Charlie Fitchman and had Richard Pryor booked for 2 shows, the first one starting at 10 p.m. I could book Richard at American University for an early show and have him back at the club by 9 p.m. Jack agreed to let me do this with the understanding I would give him a $500 deposit, and if I did not return Richard by 9 p.m., I would forfeit the $500 to Jack. I got him back a little after 8:30 p.m. and went upstairs to the offices over cellar door to see Jack and get my deposit back. He handed it over, and since I had just made $750 in a service fee, I asked Jack what he wanted. I will never forget what he said, and it is now almost 50 years. He said, quote, "Bud, don't put your hand in my pocket, and I won't put mine in yours," end quote. Then he shook my hand, patted me on the back, and led me to the door. That was the way I wished everyone would do business. I hope you've enjoyed both of these CDs. For Badfinger, all I want to say is Peter Ham, rest in peace.